Hey guys, recently I made a couple of knife purchases. The first one was a straight razor, and you guys saw the result of that. But I guess that's not really a knife. So I got this other one. Now that's a knife. And I got this one for battening firewood when I go camping. I'll get back to this in a minute. But I always had a problem when I went camping, and that was using a camp axe or a hatchet. I don't like hatchets at all. For one, they're top heavy. This part of the hatchet is heavy and this part is a little lighter, so they're off balance. And when you swing them, it's kind of awkward. Now, if you want to swing them sitting down, let's say you have wood in front of you, you've got to go way behind your head and go like this, okay? So you're swinging this big heavy object with its moment arm through the air, and hopefully you hit your target. If you're good at axes, maybe you will hit your target. There's another problem with hatchets, and these are the ones I really hate, and hopefully you'll see this, or be able to see this, is that if you want to swing the axe when you're standing up so you can get more force on it, you're going to stack your wood up like this. And when you're going to bring the hatchet over your head and you're going to swing down like this. And hopefully your wood's here, and you're going to swing it in there. Now if you miss, you're going right for your leg, which I don't like. The other thing that happens, and this happens to me a lot, is when I swing the axe, this big heavy head gets embedded in the wood. It doesn't split the wood fully, and then I got to sit there and lift the whole mess up and go like this. So I wanted another solution, so I looked up battening online, and it's a fairly popular yet controversial technique people use to split wood. But getting back to hatchets and camp axes, I've got two of them. Now the first one I got, which is this one I got from Walmart, I can't remember what it cost. It was really cheap, but this is a real piece of junk. Hopefully you can see that edge. It's got a very wide edge and then a very sharp cut or sharp angle on it on both sides. So that this edge here is very hard to keep sharp. And of course you need a grinder to do that. This is so fat you cannot sharpen it with a sharpening stone. You don't have much of an edge here. So this one I got at Walmart was a complete waste of money. This is pretty much useless. I hate this one. Then I went to Moab, Utah. That trip is online, and I got this hatchet or camp axe at a sports store. This is much better. I still don't like it, but it's much better than the other one. Hopefully you can see this on camera. This one here to my right is much thinner in the edge than this one, yet it comes to the same width at the handle part. So it should do a better job of splitting. It's definitely a lot easier to put an edge on this. However, I still don't like camp axes for the reasons I tried to illustrate, which is that they're awkward and dangerous. So then I got online after looking up battening, and I looked up how you do it with a big knife, and I'm going to try this tomorrow. And I got this Becker Bk-9 knife, which is actually made for battening firewood. It's a huge Bowie knife. It's very thick. I'd say the hilt or the edge of the knife here, excuse me, this is the hilt back here. I'd say the edge of the knife is almost 1/4 of an inch thick. Definitely over an eighth. But anyway, it's really heavy, really big. It came with a pretty good edge on it. I used my sharpener and put a nice edge on there. But I'm going to do a test with some firewood, which is actually what this is made for. I think they might call this a combat Bowie or something. I have no intentions of using it that way. I want to use it to bat firewood. And what you do is you keep your wood here, and you come down here and you sink this in just lightly, and then you take another piece of wood and you beat on it. Now, that's much easier to do, and instead of swinging this big heavy blade, I'm only putting this in there. I'm not really swinging this part, the blade, the sharp part. I'm beating it with a piece of wood. Now there's one other thing with camp axes and hatchets that I didn't go over, and that's that it needs to sit flat on the ground, because there's no way in heck I'm having somebody hold that piece of wood while I come down on it with a hatchet or camp axe. So it's got to sit level on the ground, and that's pretty hard to do. You go to swing and the whole thing falls over. With these big knives, using battening technique, you can just hold it with one hand Just sink it in lightly. And then after you do that, you take your other hand away. You got one hand on your knife for battening, and you take the other hand and you're going to take a piece of wood and batten this down through the piece of wood. And you'll see how this works when I do that trial. But I'm quite pleased with this blade. It's very heavy. I specifically bought this brand, the Becker Bk-9, because it's made in the USA, which is very important to me. This blade is made out of 1095 Crow Van steel. It's a high carbon steel. It's easy to put an edge on there. It's a very, what would I say, dense metal. It's easy to put an edge on there, but once it's on there, it keeps this edge. Now, it's coated with black, which I actually kind of like. A lot of people take this black finish off there. They don't like that. They just want a nice, clean looking knife that's shiny. I actually like this because it is black. It comes with this handle. It's a full tang knife, and it comes with this handle that's interchangeable. And what people have said is these plastic handles come loose, but that's not a big problem because it's got these 3 Allen screws in there, and I'm going to put some Loctite on each one of these. But it will also give me the option to change the handles later if I want to. So let's see how it works with the battening, and hopefully I didn't waste my money. Okay, today is the very last day of September here in Maryland, so it's a little chilly. Thought I'd give a test of my newest edition, my Bk-9 by Becker. This blade is supposedly made in America. If you go to their website, it specifically lists this blade as made in the USA. As I've said, that is important to me, because why not give my money to an American blade maker? So I don't have any thick wood like I would get when I go camping. But I have some firewood that I keep around when I trim the trees, so I can have a little campfire. So I guess when I want to split the big kiln-dried stuff, I will do that when I go camping. But anyway, I have a couple different pieces here of different widths. This is American ash. I got this off my ash tree. We'll see how it works on this. Now see how that's kind of at an angle there? Like this, it might sit level. It's not quite that sturdy, but if you had 2 ends that were off square, it would never sit level. So it'd be hard to cut this with a camp axe. I'm sure there's people out there that have techniques to do this. I'm not one of them. And then this is maple. Anyway, this is maple. Sorry, I had to wait till the Harley went by. This is maple. It's, I don't know, what is that? 3-4 inches in diameter. I've got another piece of ash here. So we'll see how the knife works on this. I guess we'll start with this. Ooh. Ooh. It'd be hard to cut this with a camp axe by itself. According to Nut and Fancy, you should wear gloves, and since I just cut myself, I'm going to actually wear gloves. Now, I think I might have been pronouncing battening wrong. I was pronouncing it like battening the hatches. I think it's batoning. However, I think this action is battening, and this is a baton, so just for those pronunciation police out there, which are absolutely out there. Let's see here. Wish me luck. Take one! Just kidding. I think this will work better with my other hand. Well, that wasn't too hard. I'd still rather do that than swing a camp axe. Switch hands, got my baton here. There's 3 pieces. I'm try one of these pieces of ash. I think this might be a more dense wood. Maybe it's a hardwood. Sinks right in. baton. I'll tell you, this piece is a little harder to get through. I think I've got my knife in the wrong location. When you do this, you don't want too tight a grip on this handle, I can tell you that. Just kind of want to let it float. This is going to be tough because I've got to beat on this point here, which I don't like. But it's already started, so I don't think I have a choice. I have to finish it. That actually wasn't too bad, and I didn't crack the knife even though I beat on this really thin tip here. So how much energy, okay, this is a lot more dense, I can tell you. So how much energy does it take to do that? It's not that bad. By the time you get your camp axe stuck in the wood and you have to lift the whole business up and go like this, it's probably about the same. It's probably a little more energy intensive than using a camp axe. However, it's less awkward in my mind and less dangerous. Just sink it in, switch hands. Here we go. I'm going to try to split this piece. As I said, this wood is more dense. Imagine splitting this is kind of like splitting dried oak. Okay, there's another piece. So I say this blade works. This is what I'm going to take camping with me next time. What I'm going to use to split my wood. I'm happy with it. We'll see how it splits really big, thick, kiln-dried oak. But as far as this works, so I'm happy with it. That process was less awkward for me than using a camp axe or hatchet, so I'm happy with my purchase. So there you have my review, and hopefully you find that useful.